most gardeners struggle with one frustrating cycle: soil that looks tired, plants that just don't thrive, and an endless need for store-bought fertilizers that never seem to deliver lasting results. What if the solution to breathing new life into your soil was as simple as growing a crop that not only feeds you, but also heals the land? Quinoa, often celebrated as a nutrient-packed superfood on the plate, has an equally powerful role underground when used as a cover crop. It transforms weak, depleted soil into rich, living earth that grows healthier plants season after season. Once you understand how quinoa works as a cover crop, you'll see why more gardeners are turning to it as their go-to soil revival method. It builds organic matter, enhances fertility, controls weeds, and restores balance in your garden beds, all without relying on chemical inputs. Let's explore exactly how quinoa cover cropping works and how you can start using it to naturally revitalize your growing spaces. You know, quinoa isn't just valuable for its edible seeds. Its root system really goes deep into the soil, breaking up those compacted layers and letting air, water, and nutrients move around a lot more freely. This all by itself can totally transform dense garden beds into loose, friable soil that, well, plants just love. At the same time, the leafy canopy shades out weeds, so you don't have to spend quite as much time with the back-breaking labor of constant weeding. And, unlike a lot of shallow-rooted plants, quinoa reaches way down into those hidden nutrient layers, pulling minerals up and leaving them behind in the soil when the plant decomposes. Another overlooked benefit is the organic matter it provides. Once quinoa completes its cycle, the stalks and leaves can be cut down and left as mulch or tilled lightly into the soil. This process steadily builds humus, improving soil structure, moisture retention, and long-term fertility. The result is a living, thriving soil environment instead of one that constantly depends on synthetic boosts. The success of any cover crop begins with preparation. Start by clearing the garden bed of any existing weeds or debris. You don't need perfect soil for quinoa to establish, but giving it a clean start ensures strong germination. Rake the soil surface until it's loose and even. Quinoa thrives best in well-drained soil, so if your bed tends to hold water, consider adding some organic matter before planting. Sow quinoa seeds directly into the soil once temperatures consistently remain between 60 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Scatter them evenly across the bed, aiming for a seeding rate of about 1 ounce of seed per 100 square feet. Cover the seeds lightly with half an inch of soil and water gently. Consistent moisture in the first week is crucial, so, mist the surface daily until the seedlings establish. Once the plants reach 3 to 4 inches tall, they become surprisingly hardy and require less frequent watering. Unlike traditional food crops, quinoa grown as a cover crop doesn't require constant care or heavy feeding. Its role is to grow strong foliage, create biomass, and condition the soil rather than to produce large seed harvests. Water the bed when the soil feels dry about an inch deep, but avoid overwatering. Quinoa tolerates dry conditions better than soggy soil. If weeds appear during the early stages, gently pull them by hand to prevent competition. However, as quinoa matures, it shades the ground so effectively that weeds are naturally suppressed. So, the timing of termination is honestly essential to unlock the benefits of quinoa cover cropping. Once the plants reach about 3 to 4 feet in height or begin forming flower heads, it's time to cut them down. Use shears or a sharp garden knife to cut the stems just above soil level. And, don't pull the roots out. The root system left in the ground continues to decompose, enriching the soil with organic matter and improving structure. The cut biomass can either be left on the surface as mulch or tilled lightly into the top few inches of soil. If you plan to plant immediately after, it's a good idea to chop the material into smaller pieces so it breaks down faster. Leaving it as mulch provides slow-release nutrients and excellent weed suppression, while incorporating it accelerates the composting process. Either way, your soil gains renewed fertility and structure. One of the most powerful ways to maximize the benefits of quinoa cover cropping is by creating a nutrient-rich liquid fertilizer using the cut leaves and stems. This homemade quinoa tea provides an instant nutrient boost to your garden beds and container plants. Here's the exact formula. Collect about 1 kilogram of fresh quinoa leaves and stems. Chop them finely and place them in a 20-liter bucket. Then, fill the bucket with 15 liters of clean water. You'll want to cover it loosely and let it ferment for 10 to 14 days, and be sure to stir every couple of days to speed up the breakdown. After it's fermented, go ahead and strain the liquid and dilute it before use at a ratio of 1 part quinoa tea to 10 parts water. You can apply this directly to the soil around your plants or even use it as a foliar spray to deliver nutrients right away. This natural fertilizer is packed with nitrogen and trace minerals, giving your plants a noticeable growth boost, but without the risks that come with chemical fertilizers. It also complements the slow-release organic matter that's left behind in the soil by the cover crop itself, so you get a really balanced approach to fertility management. Using quinoa as a cover crop isn't just about those short-term gains. Over multiple seasons, it gradually transforms your soil into a living system, full of microbial activity, organic matter, and balanced nutrients. Gardeners who rotate quinoa with food crops often find their beds becoming more resilient to pests, drought, and disease. Healthier soil grows stronger plants that resist stress naturally, reducing the need for sprays or constant interventions. It also plays a role in sustainable gardening practices. By minimizing reliance on external fertilizers, reducing weeds naturally, and improving soil health year after year, quinoa cover cropping supports a closed-loop system. Your garden begins to feed itself, and your role shifts from constantly correcting problems to enjoying the steady abundance of a thriving ecosystem. So, to bring it all together, here's a clear seasonal flow to guide you. In early spring or, late summer, prepare your bed and sow quinoa seeds. Allow the plants to grow for about 60 to 90 days, just keeping the bed watered until the plants are well established. Terminate the crop once it reaches the flowering stage by cutting it down and either leaving or incorporating the biomass. Optionally, you can brew a batch of quinoa tea with the cuttings to provide some additional fertility. Then, go ahead and plant your next food crop into the enriched soil, enjoying healthier growth and, hopefully, reduced weed pressure. Over time, you'll want to repeat this process annually or alternate with other cover crops for a bit of diversity. For gardeners searching for a natural, practical, and highly effective way to revive their soil, quinoa delivers results that can be seen and felt. It doesn't require specialized skills, expensive inputs, or complex equipment. What it does require is a willingness to let nature work the way it was designed. By planting quinoa, you're building fertility, suppressing weeds, unlocking nutrients, and restoring balance to your soil, all while working with a crop that has nutritional value in its own right. This simple shift in how you manage your garden beds can free you from the constant cycle of depletion and dependency. Instead of struggling against your soil, you partner with it, and the results are visible in every harvest that follows. Quinoa cover cropping is more than a gardening trick. It's a strategy for long-term soil health and abundant harvests. Whether you are a beginner trying to revive a small backyard bed or an experienced gardener managing larger plots, this approach delivers natural, sustainable results that will continue to compound with every season. If you found this guide helpful, make sure to subscribe to Growth Hub's Central Crops and share this resource with fellow gardeners. Together, we can spread practical, natural methods that build healthier soil, stronger plants, and more resilient gardens for the future.